What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. Links for that is in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, there's some people we have to shout out as we give you guys the latest Cowboy update. And we have quite a few, especially considering, we're going to see some offensive changes. Hopefully some defensive changes coming sooner than we expected, right?
Yeah,
some happy news there on the horizon.
We'll see what happens. We'll have to talk about all the news, good, bad, and ugly, as we always do here on My Cowboys Family for tonight's weekly Cowboys chat.
Yes.
It's almost every Thursday or Friday. We're going to do this recap of our last game, win, lose, or draw, which we had all three this year, and a preview of the upcoming game, which this week is against the Carolina Panthers and Rico talking shit. Well, we'll talk about that and more here on My Cowboys Family. Before we get to all that, we get to you guys, the family, who's representing the board, the man, John Luna, as our sponsor of the month. He's the sponsor of last quarter. He's paid, I think for a year, he's got probably about 9 out of the 12 months. So shout out to the man, John Luna. He is the sponsor of the month. And he's also the stream boss right now with 98 points. Much love to the great John Luna. If he's in the house, you see him out there, give him a shout out. Hey, check him out. His Cash App for Charlie is his buddy that passed recently. Always down to help out the greats here on My Cowboys Family. And speaking of greats, this is John Luna showing off. It's Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. He's got a great channel over there. He's a Rams fan. John Luna's a Houston fan. We've got a lot of representation from a lot of other teams. But Daniel Berry, he's got a great sports channel. Check it out. Subscribe to it. He is the Cash App King of last month. And he's currently leading this month on the Cash App side of things. We'll explain that in a minute. You see the different ways, right? Cash App, the Venmo, PayPal, message on stream at Streamlabs. Those are different ways of dropping the love.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Cash App side of things. So Daniel Berry's in the lead there. And then we have the gifting memberships situation. The king gifter last month is the man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan. He had seven on it. Hopefully one day we get to 7 Super Bowls past everyone else. But he's past everyone right now. Last month with 7 gifted memberships. This month, Jet Lee 44 got 2, but Citizen Z got 5 on it. Citizen Z has 5 gifted memberships, leading the pack for this month. I think that's all the spots, except for one. Right now, we just had a drop from the great, the one and only skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Let me know what the man said.
He said Rico Dowdle has one incredible game, and now he thinks he's Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I think he got a 200-yard plus game. Great. He said, "Buckle up, Cowboys. I'm coming for you." Oh, hey, look, we'll talk about that when it gets to the Carolina Panther time. They want to get pounded. We're gonna keep pounding.
I think the cowboy hype got to his head. I'm going to be honest, but we'll get to that.
It's that cowboy land overhyping that from Jerry Jones. I think he's got the sickness. He's got the disease.
Thank you so much, skeptical fan. Appreciate you always supporting.
Yes,
love.
always. And let me give him the heart there. Big shout out to skeptical. By the way, all others to shout out here. Other than skeptical, which is on the top of this board here, we got others throughout the last stream. Went I think Indian Boogie and Gerald Swain both in the navy blue crew. We had Aussie in the star level. So he jumps right up the boards there. And Citizen Z, we just talked about it. He's back in the navy blue crew membership along with amazing games tonight. So shout outs to everybody in the membership side. There's a lot of different ways to drop the love here. You see the super chat. That's a way. I see AOD. He's on the board. Much love. Super chat's a way to drop the love here. There's a goal on that board there. You see we hit 1 out of 20 so far. The great skeptical fan let it off. We get 20 of them by the end of the stream tonight. Everybody in that raffle, everybody that hit the goal, hit the bullseye on the goal, everybody, you can hit it 4 times. You get your name 4 times into the raffle, a pre-raffle, to get into the big raffle for a sewn and stitched jersey. Any sport, any team, any player, even customized. Any style, size, etc. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to big shout outs to skeptical fan for kicking off the goal hunt here. Hopefully, we hit it. We in a raffle. Of course, if someone drops the whole thing in one shot, knocks it off, everybody after that and everybody already in it, automatically in the big raffle. You don't have to go into a pre-raffle. So that's I'll call it the John Luna rule, because he's kind of started us off into that. It's a great idea. So thank you, John Luna, for that side of things as well. And of course, that's there's different ways of dropping the love. Like I said, super chat, which hits the goal there. There's also hitting the thanks button or giving thanks, hitting the thanks button on any uploaded video or live stream or whatever short. You can give love, drop love that way, and you do get on the leaderboard that way as well. There's also jumping in the memberships, navy blue, silver, star, and over everything. Any of those levels, yeah, you're on that board above there. Ways helping out the channel. And once you're in the membership, you can gift memberships, which is a double way of helping out the channel, helping us support us, and us also helping others get a taste, a glimpse of 4 weeks of free trial of
That's right.
new emojis every week about good cowboy ones and F the opponent ones, which we have already out right now. Oh, I got 3 Carolina Panther ones. Fuck you to the Panthers. So, anyways, drop them if you got them. If you're in the membership, much love to all the levels, especially those in the top shelf level membership. And I'll say that like this in this way because there's a lot of different levels here. And I actually want to show you guys what you do get into it. Because if you get into the top shelf membership side of things, which is the star or over everything level, a little bonus, baby. What do you remember what they get if they're in that? Automatically get involved into the big end of the month raffle.
That's right.
So yeah, you see it right there.
And you've seen us rep our very own during the game days, right?
Yeah, it can be any team, any color,
Player,
any
style, size,
it can be customized. So the sponsor of the month, whoever wins it this month, which it looks right now is John Luna in the lead. They get 1 automatic raffle entry, star level. You get one automatic entry. Over everything gets 2 automatic entries, and that's pretty much the 4 guaranteed. Those are the 3 spots guaranteed when you see people in here. But like we already have done this month, John Luna has made it possible for many to join directly into the raffle, not going through the pre-raffle way.
That's
so
right.
shout outs to him for making it happen. And there's about 5 or 6 other names in this thing from last week. So shout outs to him for making it happen. And hey, that's how you get into this thing. If you're in any of these levels, thank you guys. But if you were in the level of the star over everything, you of course not just get the bonus membership raffle entry, but you also get the nightly shout outs.
That's
So
right.
shouting out right now, Jet Lee 44, John Luna, and Aussie. Thank you guys on the star level. But tonight is Fan Friday. And every Fan Friday we shout out the silver level.
Mm-hmm.
The Q Man Justin Quarles, Top Dog Bay Bullies, Dwayne Broussard, and the longest member, all our membership levels on all our members, A. Lavelle, 63 months. Holy shit. Much love to the great A. Lavelle and everybody in the star and Navy Blue Star, silver and over everything levels. Thank you all, whatever level you're in. Now, on that note, I guess I will pass it on to you because we're going to be going into the full discussion of things here. That's just the goal. You see, that's what you're playing for when you get into the goal. If you hit the goal, good luck to all. But now let's do the shout outs. Who's in the house tonight?
And there we go. And
a little late night My Cowboys Family stream.
Yes, we have Aztec Aguilar 04 in the house. What's up? And my question to you then is, would you put it more on the offense or more on the defense? Even though it's both. We have Seabass in the house. What's up? Much love. AOD representing hello and hi. Of course, skeptical fan. Always stay skeptical.
First drop of the night.
AL in the house, which, by the way, one of the biggest questions in the chat is, how did Sanders even get hurt?
Right? Well, we got some injuries to talk about. Running back out for the season. I didn't want to tell you who it was, but you might have a clue.
Beetlejuice, what's up? Who, by the way, recommends the series Monsters on Netflix with Ed Gein.
Oh, I actually saw. We saw a highlight preview for it. Yeah, I know we're looking at it. It was a little gruesome. I know the real situation. The guy cuts his women's faces off. It's like the one from Silence of the Lambs, Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Kind of background, I think. So yeah, it's more Chainsaw Massacre, I think. But anyways, I was gonna watch it maybe one day, but thank you for.
Hey, if Beetlejuice says it's a trip, then
no, we said that twice. One more time, Beetlejuice. That's 3 times. Beetlejuice. What's up, Beetlejuice? Who me? Remember that? Who me? Anyways, the old days, I remember.
Berry Sports highlights. Happy Friday. Hello to you too.
By the way, you know who that is, right?
That's the Cash App.
That's the king of the Cash App, and currently, just by a little bit, the leader of the Cash App here on My Cowboys Family. Yeah, much love to him.
You know who else I see here?
Who?
MCF After Dark. Who's that?
Oh, all the After Dark crew is in here. Yeah, eyeballs are watching, always watching. If you guys, I don't post the links, but if you guys know how to get there, make sure you subscribe to all those 3: MCF After Dark 2, and After Dark 3. Find them on your own, though. I don't really, it's kind of like if you want it, you got to go find it because they get crazy, they get deleted. It goes overnights, so never in the daytime, always overnights. It's quite after dark. It's after these kind of shows, right? But it's not happening the next 3 nights. I got family coming to town, my daughter coming to town, so we got a busy schedule this weekend. Plus, our Cowboys. The Cowboys are playing the Panthers, who want to get pounded, I guess. Anyways,
That's
continue.
right. So let's go ahead and talk about the pounding that we just pounded, right? As
Gave
far as our
to the
previous game, before we start touching on some of the
upcoming
Panther
situations.
stuff,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously,
Well, we did
like I
pound.
said,
We got
what the heck has happened?
the Panthers. They are the ones that they have the keep pounding. They bang a gong before they have the whole keep pounding thing, a big drum, whatever. Um, but yeah, we'll start with the pounding that we know we gave already. We're gonna hopefully give a good pounding to the Panthers. But let's start off with the Jets, who I will say surprisingly pounded them in the sense of that I thought it was going to be a lot closer just mainly because of our defense, but there was some changes. And again, that was a great thing that we won that game. Again, happy the Cowboys won. We all, we won it handily with a 37-22, pretty easy. We had that game.
More pounding than expected.
Yes. But I do want to say one thing because there is a game last night, or there was a game last night, Thursday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles were going to go into New York and just kick their ass. Well, Dart and Scatterbo had a different mindset on this, and they took it to the Eagles, and they beat the living shit out of them. 34-17, the Giants upset the Eagles yesterday, putting the Eagles at, 4-2? They're 4-2 right now. Commanders are 3-2. Cowboys are 2-1. The Giants are 2-4. So my point here is, if we win this week, we're 3-2-1. I don't even know who the Commanders play. If they lose, we'll be half game back on the Eagles for the top spot in the NFC East. NFC East, even the Giants, this wide open again. Thank you, New York.
Yeah.
Thank you, New York. So, Jerry Jones actually was asked right after the game, this morning, after the Giants beat the Eagles 34-17. Jerry Jones said, quote, "This whole NFL thing is designed for parity. It does not surprise me at all. In general, we're very capable of evolving into a team that can compete for the NFC East championship." So he said championship, NFC East. That means NFC East division winner is what he's saying. We can still do it. And I just said, it's wide open. It's anybody, even the Giants can make a run and all the teams falter. Who knows? You never know. But it's wide open. And Jerry says, hey, we can still compete for the NFC East, which is technically, obviously, 100% true.
Whether it's because we're good or because we all suck, one way or the other, it feels like the NFC East is going to have another competitive year ahead of it.
Yeah, and when it comes to the Cowboys, the thing about us that makes it a little bit more hopeful than maybe the other teams, the way I see it, the Eagles have been playing badly pretty much in all their 3 wins or 4 wins. They've been playing pretty, poorly and getting lucky. We, the Cowboys, have been playing with a fucking slew of backups every week. Every week, superstars, offensive line, defense, missing everybody, and we're still in this 2-1 situation with the Eagles losing to the Giants. That's where I'm hopeful. It's more like we were horrible and we overcame some things, while the other teams are good and they couldn't take advantage. So here's the chance. If you want to have a decent year, this is the time to strap on that helmet and make that run in a real way if you're the Cowboys. But hey, I'm not gonna get my hopes too high with this team because I've been let down way too many times. When I'm sure, I'll let you know when I'm sure. It'll be when we're in the playoffs, playing the divisional game in the playoffs, and then you'll hear me saying, okay, I think we got a shot. I think we got a shot.
Okay.
That'll probably be the first time I'll say that this year. Because I don't trust this Jerry Jones run team. Sorry, I just can't do it.
I think that feels very likely.
Too many times.
It's like the 2022 season all over again where 3 NFC East teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Again, though, we're like, I guess you could say we're a little over a quarter of the season. Isn't a real quarter anymore because it's an even number of games now. But
I feel like we should divide into thirds instead. So week 6, that's the first. That's the first third.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So after
week 18, so we're almost a third of the
So
way.
after this game, we're a third of the way, and it'd be nice to be 3-2-1, even though it better be 4-2 if we didn't take that tie to the Green Bay Packers. The point is, if that happens and we win, if we didn't have that tie with the Packer game, and we're able to beat the fucking Panthers on Sunday, we'd be tied with the Eagles right now. And honestly, I thought we played better than the Eagles in that week 1 game opening of the season. So, anyways. Now, let's stick with Jerry Jones for a moment because in that Jets game, something happened. and it was early in the game. It was not at the end. Jerry Jones, and you see if you watch our video shorts here, Mike Cowboy, you see him giving the middle finger, flipping the bird, flipping off a Jet fan or two, or some people in the crowd from his booth where he's at. So the NFL today, or a couple days ago, fined Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboy owner and GM, $250,000. $250,000 for the middle finger, guys, for flashing the middle finger to the crowd during the Sunday game against the Jets. Jerry Jones said he may appeal he could appeal the fine. He said, he's thinking about it initially. Then he said that, the whole situation was that he was trying to give thumbs up, he said. He said he was doing a thumbs up. Now, it's a whole different, finger collaboration there. I don't know what he's talking about, but thumbs up or a middle finger, we all know the difference. Listen, if you watch the full video, which I do have, he gave the middle finger. The camera, kind of panned to we were kicking a field goal, but Aubrey panned back, and Jerry Jones gave the thumbs up. I think he gave a middle finger, and then he gave a thumbs up, 2 seconds, 3 seconds later to somebody else. Like he looks like he gave a middle finger to the Jets fan and a thumbs up to the Cowboy fan. That's what it looked like. $250,000 is a lot for us. For him, it's $250 probably at most. So
not even.
It's like $2.50.
Half of a penny.
It's like $2.50. Can I just round it up? Half of a penny. There you go. So Jerry Jones not even affected, and it all goes back into the pot because the NFL takes it and puts it back in the pot for all the fines.
The thing.
Yeah, it's just principalities. But anyways, he said he could appeal this. Jerry Jones said this about giving the middle finger. Quote, "That was very unfortunate. There was a swarm of Cowboy fans out in front, and it was right after we made our last touchdown. So the game wasn't over yet. But it was right after the last touchdown. I guess they were kicking an extra point, was what I saw then. He said, quote, "It was right after we made our last touchdown. I put up the wrong show of hand. The intention was the thumbs up." Again, not the middle finger, I guess.
Getting old, Jerry?
Listen.
Signals got crossed?
He decided not, and then later on today, it came out that he decided not appeal the $250,000 fine. I mean, he's going to get probably a 32nd of that back. But the point is that $250,000, it's going to be paid by Jerry Jones. He's not going to appeal it. I mean, you can't really hide from it. I mean, he gave the middle finger. And that happened, of course, this past Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Remember this one fact as well. I know I said it goes back to the owners and stuff, but in this situation, actually, the league fine money was changed recently. So my mistake. Now it all goes to charity. So
even better.
Jerry Jones said, "I'm not appealing it because I want it to go to charity. I have no problem with it going to charity." So again, he's happily supporting this fine of $250,000, and he's confident that the fans know how much he appreciates all fans, not just Cowboy fans. But we know he appreciates the money that the Cowboy fans and other fans pay to watch the Cowboys. So we know he loves all fans.
Honestly, that's really smart of the NFL because that almost gives a negative incentive to appeal.
Yeah. You
appeal, and obviously you can, but yeah. Now you're the jerk who doesn't want to donate to charity because you fucked up. Even if it's something where the NFL shouldn't have fined you or whatever, right, they reverse it. It still tends to be a bad look, at least initially. So.
It's funny though because a player gets fined. Let's say a practice squad guy gets fined. A guy's making $10,000, or to get to the practice squad before making the team. I guess technically, you make the team, you might have $700,000, but you get fined. You ain't happy. You gotta appeal that. I'm just saying, if you're getting $10,000, you're not gonna just give away, 1,000.
Yeah.
You're gonna. So yes, you know what? No offense to charity, but if you're, he's a charity. The player is a charity in that situation. He needs it. So I would, especially if you're not guilty. Jerry Jones, listen. The excuse is, I want to give the money to charity, but the truth is that he's guilty, and everyone saw it. So we all know, what he did there in MetLife Stadium. Either way, I don't really have a problem with it. In the end, I don't really like Jerry Jones, but principalities. Anyways, our offensive line in this Jets game was impressive. Guys, we were missing 4 starting offensive linemen against a solid New York Jets defensive front.
Easy to forget.
Yeah,
considering how smoothly they played.
People don't know that the Jets are one of the best defensive front lines in the NFL. And we had 4 backups. Again, I think 2 of them are undrafted. One was a 6th rounder, one's a 7th rounder. Those are the replacements to our starters, guys like Tyler Smith, Booker, Eby, Guyton. I just named you 3 out of the 4 of them, the first round picks. I'm just saying, we took 3 out of 4 first-round picks and a third-rounder, and they're injured. And we put in guys that were a 6th-rounder, a 7th-rounder, and 2 undrafted guys. And you know how it went? Let me tell you how it went, guys. Nate Thomas took over for Guyton. Nate Thomas, he's a 7th-round pick last year. Nate Thomas allowed 3 pressures. All right? The good news here, threes, no, that's a lot. But it's kind of not a lot, but it's like, you can do less, right? If you were better, if we had Guyton out there, he might allow 1, you know? All right, but 3. All right. The good news is he did the worst. Hakeem I can't ever say his name. Adeniji.
Adoniji?
Adeniji.
Adeniji?
Adeniji. Hakeem Adeniji. He had 0 pressures allowed. Brock Hoffman at center. 6'7"?
Yeah.
Well, he allowed 0 pressures from the interior. TJ Bass going in there for Tyler Booker. 0 pressures. Just a quick note. All of our interior guys, all 3 of them, all backups, did not allow 1 pressure combined. Combined. And then Terrence Steele, which is the only starter, he allowed 1 pressure. Now, I will say one thing. On the edges, that's why you see Nate Thomas allowing 3. Because on the edges, it's easier to allow pressure than inside. But when you have 3 guys that are basically backups inside,
yeah, of course,
that number usually goes up.
Yeah, I was going to say, and, I don't remember the exact play, but I'm imagining that Terrence Steele was also maybe trying to overcompensate for some of the rookie offensive linemen.
Could be, but you know what's crazy about this entire situation? This is going to be mind-blowing. There was 4 pressures allowed. 3 from Nate Thomas on the left tackle and 1 from Terrence Steele on the right tackle. That was tied for the least amount of pressure that Dak Prescott has faced from his starting offensive line in a game in his entire career.
That is insane.
In his entire career against a top Jets defensive front.
I mean, we just completely dismantled the Jets on a level that I don't think even they were prepared for.
No one expected that kind of like dominance by the Cowboy offensive line to the Jets defensive front. So again, and I want to make sure I reiterate this here, that Quinnen Williams, one of the best interior defensive tackles in the NFL. I mean, he's even, Kenny Clark is one of the top ones as well, but he's better than Kenny Clark. Quinnen Williams from the Jets was held mostly in check by all 3 guys inside. And I said no pressures. And that is the most impressive thing as an offensive line the Cowboys did today or in the game day. The interior offensive line, those 3 backups, seem to put together an incredible performance. And that's what makes it even more mind-blowing, the fact that it was 3 backups. Cowboys had reserves, by the way, at every point of the interior, guard and center of this game. And they successfully handled a guy, which is so good that Jerry Jones called the Jets about the Micah Parsons trade to try to get Quinnen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hell no. Well, the Packers said, all right, we'll let you get Kenny Clark. You see what I'm saying there? So, again, Cowboys' offensive line deserves the highest level of props after this game against the Jets. You can give them. Hopefully, if we need them this time against the Panthers, they'll be able to handle a Panthers defensive line, which is not as good as the Jets defensive line. Let me make that clear. So after the game, we had Brian Schottenheimer kind of going, here's a quick couple of things, you takeaways from what he said after the game. And then we're moving on. We're going to move on to injuries. Crediting the offensive line. That was the main thing. And you heard me credit the offensive line. That's all I've spoken about this game. That's all I'm going to speak about this game. The offensive line against the Jets was great. He said that offensive line's resilience and also a player that we got to mention, of course, Dak Prescott. What a great game as well. Dak's strong, consistent play. That's the key word to me, consistent play. His strong play keeps the offense balanced despite the injuries, despite the CeeDee Lamb-Turpin injuries, despite the 4 offensive line injuries. The backup offensive linemen and Dak have overcome this thing. That's what he's saying. That's what Schottenheimer's saying. Now, he also praised our offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams. We haven't talked about him much here. I should talk more about him, but he's very creative. He's really running the plays, even though Schottenheimer is the offensive, kind of like the McCarthy situation. He might
be the offensive mastermind or final decider, but obviously it sounds like Clay is bringing his own spin to it.
Clayton makes the plays. I think sometimes you'll see
Shoddy
call some of these plays.
Okay.
And sometimes Clayton Adams calls the plays. Again, I think he just sometimes he'll make a decision on something and he'll trust Clayton Adams to make the move there. So Clayton Adams, all right, and Connor Riley. because he does work with the offensive line, Connor Riley. That's our offensive line coach. Both these guys, both offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach, are drilling the offensive line fundamentals like footwork and hand placement. These are two keys that is why the offensive line is doing so well, even the backups. So it's about
I
footwork.
find it curious that they're working together with the
Yeah.
offense, though.
Yeah,
Like,
both.
have you heard of that before?
Well, I mean, yeah, you
Checking
do
that
hear
one out?
that, but Clayton Adams helping with the offensive line because without the offensive line, we said this before, you got nothing. I don't care how good your players
Yeah.
are. So that's a big thing there. I think that connection is big. Clayton Adams working with the offensive line, fundamentals, with the coach is there. Fundamentals like footwork and hand placement. And according to Schottenheimer, that was essential for this backup group
Yeah.
success. So he also spoke about one of our surprise guys you might have forgotten about, Ryan Flournoy. Flournoy, however you
Trust
say
me,
it.
I did not forget
Well,
about
I'm just
Florida.
saying, Flournoy and Nate Thomas. All right. He said both these guys, because again, they're only 2-3 years in the league, but these guys are gaining valuable experience. And he said it's going to just boost the entire team when the veterans return. Guyton comes back. We know we got Nate Thomas back there ready to go. We know that if something happens to any of our receivers, even after they're all back, we got Flournoy as our fourth or fifth guy. I mean, we're set to go with a lot of our guys because they're showing us they could come through. So, anyways, then again, when you look at Javonte Williams, boy, second best running back in the NFL, number one in the NFC. Just so you know, in the entire conference, he's number one. So, but in the NFL, he's number two. Javonte Williams.
Gonna make a little joke here. Saquon who?
Javonte Williams, with Schottenheimer's words on this, said that his physicality, his football IQ, and versatility is what stands out for someone like Javonte Williams. So Schottenheimer officially called him the bell cow. So he's a 3-down back now for us. He's the bell cow and praised his career-long run as a kind of a spark. He really, when he's playing, he's always done great. That's something I've always said. When he's in there with Denver, he was doing great. It's just they benched him. They not benched him. He got hurt and never regained his job because they had other running backs that were doing good at the time, so he never got a shot again. And I said, this is a guy to keep watching. And 2 years passed. Knee's good. Yeah, that's a winning deal right there for the Cowboys, signing him for cheap. So great job there by the Cowboys. And, when you flip it over to the defensive side of things, just real quick, and he didn't say this, so I'm going to take Shotty off. And we'll put up Everfluss, though. Listen to this. Cowboys defense was aligned with a 4-man front. So it could be a 4-3 or a 4-2-5. The point is 4 down linemen. 85.1% of the time this year. Not just this game, this year. So we're a 4 down lineman team, whether we're nickel, dime, or, a straight up base 4-3 defense. So, yeah, that is, by the way, I just want you guys to know, by having 4 down linemen for over 85% of the snaps, that is the most in the NFL. That's number one in the NFL. Cowboys also are the only defense to have aligned with both 5 men down and 6 men down on less than 10% of the snaps. So a lot more teams are kind of flooding the front with more guys, more help when it comes to stopping the run. That's why you're seeing 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. But we do it less than 10% of the time. Like I said, guys, we're the only defense to do that less than 10%, which means our run defense does not need help. We don't need extra help in the run defense as often as other teams. We use it less than 10% of the time. Every other team uses it 10% or more. And have to stack the line of scrimmage. So that to me is a major help for stopping the run, which then in turn has to help you in coverage. Because if you can do it with 4, it's kind of like if you're only rushing with 4 guys and you had Micah, you don't need to bring in a 5th guy to blitz that often. It's going to help your pass defense because you got an extra guy covering.
Yeah.
You don't have to pull an extra guy to blitz and get pressure like we got to do now. But the fact that now, we used to have to put 5 or 6 guys to maybe stop the run, which we couldn't even do that in the past. This year, we're stacking that line the least. 4 guys 90% of the time. Even, I'm saying, That's what I'm trying to say. The fact that we don't have to bring in extra guys, we should have guys in coverage.
Yeah.
The extra guys should be in coverage. If they pass or play action, we should not be getting killed in the air like we have been. And we've been getting killed in the air almost every game. So that's one thing I still want to see Everfluss get better on and improve. But that's any quick comments or thoughts maybe from you in the chat about this game before we move on to the injury portion of the show.
Well, I'll stick about this game specifically, no. But Seabass did say Matt Hoffman looked great MCF, but I'm still not with that notion that he's better than Cooper Beebe.
No, who said that? And it's Brock Hoffman, but Brock Hoffman is not better, no way better than Cooper Beebe. But I'm just saying the notion is that this is the least amount of pressures Dak's ever faced in his entire career, tied for the least, with a total of 4 pressures from this offensive line. Now, Beebe is much better, but Brock Hoffman's a damn good backup, and he's, in a way, I won't say a seasoned vet. He's not, but he has started half a year. He played some other spot roles and played.
He's not exactly a spring chicken either.
Well, I mean, he's been in the league for 3 years, so he's still young. But the point is that he's had a lot of starting games. He's probably started 12 games, and TJ Bass probably started about 6 or 7. I'm saying these guys inside, maybe they're undrafted, but they are also kind of, and they're only 3 years in the league, but they're also been used a lot. So they're kind of what I was saying. What Schottenheimer said: when you get these other guys like Nate Thomas and Flournoy, you get these. They're showing they're getting more veteran every day as these they get in these games and they show out. That's what happened with Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass. So, yeah. Anyways.
But no. Other than that, Sick Aguilar 4 also said, I think we'll see Julius Wood at special teams soon.
Julius Wood, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's on the practice squad. He's got to be elevated. We shall see. It'd be nice, but honestly, I don't think the Cowboys. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't want to, make you sad here, but I don't see Wood getting on this team this week. Not this week, because I'll explain why we're gonna get to the injuries now. Let's get to the injuries and keep it rolling. So let's start with some of the ones we knew already, and one of them would be, for example, CeeDee Lamb. Where is he at right now? CeeDee Lamb. He was this week in practice. He was working the entire week on the resistance cords.
Okay.
All right. So that was the entire week. And, you get a little happy. Maybe he's had that chance, but he did not practice the entire week. So, you know where that's heading to when it comes to him. Now,
I mean, at least they're taking it easy.
All right. Well, yeah, but they're taking their time getting him back.
Yeah.
And that's because of Flournoy and guys like that. Now, CeeDee Lamb, we'll talk about him in a minute. Is he going to play? How about Cooper Beebe? You just spoke about him. He has that foot and ankle issue. He's making progress. First time he's out in the resistance cords. So, CeeDee and him, I see the 2 bigger names on offense that are going to be out for a little, like the longest of the 2. And Tyler Booker, I guess. Those are the 3 bigger names that are out for the longest time. But it's good to see not just CeeDee back out there the whole week, but finally Cooper Beebe out on that field. Because Cooper Beebe is not coming back until a couple weeks after CeeDee Lamb. Remember that. So, anything good in that progress, in that side of things, any progress from BB or CD, it rhymes. There's good stuff for the Cowboys for the next couple of weeks. Now, what about DeMarvion Overshown? That's what everybody's, I know he's in the background of all our minds because Overshown, here with the old number 35, Overshown Agent 0 now. We're thinking, what was the date? Do you remember around the time when he's supposed to come back?
I think it was around Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So Schottenheimer today said that Overshown is, quote, getting close to his return. Said, quote, you don't have to worry about Demo. He's always going to be engaged. Demo is a guy that's going to beat most markers. I do think time is getting closer.
I mean, that makes sense considering we're, 6 weeks from Thanksgiving?
Yeah, but I know, but it sounds like it's closer than Thanksgiving.
A lot closer than I expected.
It sounds like maybe early November. Who knows? But Stephen Jones spoke about Overshown.
He'll play before Thanksgiving. Play in
the Eagle game. Yeah, the Eagles are the ones before. It's KC, Eagles.
Huh.
Before that, it's the Raiders, and it's a bye. So, I mean, it comes down to, being smart about using him. The thing is, Stephen Jones said this about Overshown, quote, he's sure progressing in a great way. So all signs pointing to good news from CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Beebe, and DeMarvion Overshown getting back maybe a little bit expected. I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to assume he's going to be back, earlier than Thanksgiving. I'm going to keep that Thanksgiving date in my mind and just assume that's going to be the day. If he comes back earlier, we're happier, right? So That'll help the defense for sure. Now, with all these banged up guys and injuries, what about trades? Stephen Jones said this on improving the roster via trade. Because again, guys, it's or via trade. It's almost end of the trade. End of the month is the trade deadline is over, and you cannot make any more trades. So he said this quote: "If the right opportunity were there today, we would pull the trigger. If I saw a great opportunity, we'd be all over it." End quote. So he's all in on making a trade if needed. But you know what that means from the Joneses. When they say that, it means they got to get the world and give nothing in return. So don't expect any trades, in my opinion, unless a team is desperate trying to sell one of their guys for the rest of the year and take a smaller hit if we take on some of that contract. So anyways, so that's the trade situation. Stephen Jones also kind of earlier in the week discussed, and I should put Stephen's ugly ass face on here, his clown show face, but I'll put the regular Stephen Jones up there. Where is he? There he is. Stephen Jones said that this is earlier in the week. He said CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, and Kevontae Turpin are all in a group that is possible to be back in the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. That's Stephen Jones. Give me the optimism there.
I mean,
Blowing that
it feels
smoke
like
up
that
our
was an
ass.
entire football team you just rattled off
Nah.
like just then.
Yeah, and that's a lot of good players, right? I mean,
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, and Kevontae Turpin. 5 guys, by the way, all on offense. If not this week, next week they'll all be back. That's what he's saying. I would just say, don't buy everything he's selling you. Also, he did say that the guys that will be a little bit longer to come back, Cooper Beebe, which we just discussed, is going to be a couple weeks after CD. So already, everything's falling in the right. And the other guy is the guy we just spoke about, Agent Zero, DeMarvin Overshown. He said that Overshown is going to be a little bit later, but he said this. Listen to this, baby, about Cooper Beebe and Overshown about coming back. They said these guys will be a little bit longer than the first 5 I mentioned. These 2 will be a little bit later, but he said, "quote not a lot past the bye week." So we know Thanksgiving is the 3rd game after the bye week, and that's Overshown. He will be the last guy coming back. But it sounds like, it just sounds like BB, Overshown. These are guys that will be back
maybe
for like the Raiders or the Eagles.
That span is the point.
Yeah, Raiders, Eagles, the 2 games before the Thanksgiving game. Overshown maybe back at the KC game. Maybe 1, 2, 3. I don't know. After the bye, though, I expect Cooper Beebe back on that field, 100%. And, when it comes to Overshown, let's say Thanksgiving. With the good news, I'll still say Thanksgiving, but maybe it's a week earlier. So you might get a Raiders and Eagles. You get them back in that kind of way. But remember, we'll have a bye week before that. It'll be 2 straight weeks of just like resting. So this team should be ready now. Now, when we get back to the injuries, the other clown of our show here is Jerry Jones. And he said that, now this is what he said. This is why I hate Jerry Jones, because he said this on Tuesday. And he said, quote, I'm paraphrasing. He said that guys like Tyler Smith with the knee, Tyler Guyton with the concussion, and receiver Kevontae Turpin with the foot are the Cowboy players with the best chance of returning this week from injury. Literally later that day, Kevontae Turpin was interviewed, and he said, "I would not expect to play on Sunday."
Ouch.
At Carolina. So, basically he said this whole week, guys, he worked on the resistance cords. He does expect to be back against the Washington Commanders next week. You guys got me on that? So I'd take Jerry Jones to face off. And I'll let you know, when it comes to Kevontae Turpin, the expectation, the Washington Commanders next week, but not this week. He said he's out this week. That's what he said. And as we kept going, down the list of what could happen the rest of this week in injuries, guess we found out today. You might have known maybe more. Yes, one of the headlines of this title tonight, running back is out for the season for the Cowboys. And his name is Miles Sanders. Guys, number 24, who didn't play much with us, former Eagle. Of course, he was going to play Carolina this week. That's his former team last year. So is Jonathan Mingo, who I'll explain to him in a minute. But Miles Sanders is out for the year. He's on IR. He's not officially on IR yet. Tomorrow, the Cowboys will place him officially on IR. And we'll probably move Mingo or Kalen Carson on the 53-man roster. But what I'm saying, though, is this. Miles Sanders, running back, he was a number 2 guy, right? Now, Jaden Blue, officially, and this has been said by Stephen Jones, Officially, Jaden Blue is our number 2. And he's number 23, not 34. Remember that. But anyways, the point is, you'll see a lot of Jaden Blue in this game. Javonte Williams, the bell cow. Jaden Blue is a number 2. Easy to remember. So I want to go back though for a second. So that's if anybody was wondering about Jaden Blue, we're going to see more of him this week.
Which again, I feel like a lot of people have been wondering about Jaden Blue, not just now, but even before this. So honestly, I see this as
cleats seemed to be the bigger issue with him at the time.
I know, but it sounds like we got that resolved. But I see this very similar, obviously different scale, very similar to the CeeDee Lamb being a little banged up situation, right? Because of that, it creates opportunity. Who's going to make the best of it? Flournoy made the best of it. Let's see if he can match his energy, right? And thank you, Calvin Richard.
In the house.
What is up? Much love to the man, Calvin Richard, with his $2 holler.
I just read his comment.
And he's saying Sanders being out is a good thing.
A lot of people would probably agree with you on that.
So there you go. Like I said, Jalen Blue has the chance now to... Sorry,
yeah.
Jaden? Okay, sorry. Jaden, sorry, for a second I couldn't remember. But Jaden Blue has the chance now to, again, make the most of this opportunity, take himself seriously, put up some nice numbers, some nice stats, and, really grind it out.
I think when you look at Javonte Williams, number 33, who's the bell cow, been announced basically, and we kind of been seeing that he's been rolling as the main guy. But even before Miles Sanders is out, we didn't see much Miles Sanders. He took a drive, a drive or two from him, and then he fumbled one of those away. Maybe lost the game for the Eagles because of that one. He helped the Eagles as a former fucking Eagle. But my point is that, yeah, I mean, I do think overall it's a good thing. My only issue is the one, and I'm going to knock on wood. I'm going to hope it doesn't happen. But what if there's an injury to a running back? What if Jaden Blue gets injured? What if Javonte Williams gets injured? What happens now? Now we don't have Miles Sanders to kind of fall back on a veteran kind of guy. Now we got to go at Hunter Lipke. You kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, what's next? Are we gonna bring up what's his name? Miles? What's his name? Davis, the running back.
I almost said Miles.
Yeah,
Davis.
Well, I'm just not Miles Davis.
I know. That's
Malik Davis, running back. He don't have to be moved into the 53.
Right wavelength, sort of.
I know, but I'm just saying. Like, my point is that that's why you have to kind of like that's where the loss is more of not the fact that he's his usage is important. It's more about, and I understand why it's good news for Calvin Richard, and why I understand why you say I agree to an extent. And overall, that means Jaden Blue gets more snaps and he gets thrown in quicker, and we get less snaps from Sanders, which is good. But when you need that extra snap because someone's hurt, you're going to trust Lipke. You're going to trust Malik Davis. I mean, Malik Davis I always liked. But we'll have to officially bring him on a 53 or pick someone up. But my point is now we have to go into like mini panic mode. And I don't know if Sanders is the answer, so maybe it still would have been panic mode. But point is, at least there's another guy, another body there that can help out, has veteran background. But I never was a big fan of Sanders, so I completely understand the whole situation with Calvin Richard and his comment there. Thank you, Mr. Calvin Richard. And we didn't hit the bullseye, but he's one of our top guys here on a top 5 list, I think, on our overall board. Shout out to the man, Calvin Richard. Now, let's go through the injury list because again, actually, let me finish one thing. Going on that Miles Sanders situation. Here's the thing, guys. Miles Sanders, and this is going to be sad here, unfortunately, he needs a chondral tissue graft on his left knee. So that's what the injury is. It's a knee injury, which means what? You know what that means? Pieces of his bone and cartilage were transplanted into the affected area to improve his left knee joint. Do you know who had this similar surgery back in January?
Trayvon Diggs, right?
That is correct. Trayvon Diggs had that injury, same exact injury. And he was out for what, like 9 months, basically, right? So Trayvon Diggs, an example of what Miles Sanders is going to have to go through. So again, just to reiterate, without Miles Sanders there, Jaden Blue is the number 2 running back behind Javonte Williams. Now, as expected, let me go through the injury list here with you. Tell me if this surprises you, baby.
All right.
CeeDee Lamb out for this game.
I mean, no,
we knew that.
Surprising.
We knew that, right? What about Kavontae Turpin? Because he's out for this game. 2 receivers out. Flournoy steps up. We have, he's our third guy now. Flournoy.
Not surprised, but I still was a little more hopeful
Well,
that
remember,
maybe Turpin would be back.
Remember, though, he himself said earlier in the week
Exactly.
he was out.
After
So
Jerry said, "Oh no, he's playing."
Jerry said he has a good chance, and then all of a sudden, no, I'm out for this game. I'll be back against Washington. With no setbacks. He's back next week against the Commanders in Dallas, by the way. So that hurts our wide receiver, but it also hurts our return game. Our kick and punt return game.
I
Special
think I'll
teams.
take that chance, or not chance, but I think I'll take that downgrade for now, just because having Turpin back at 100% is more important than having him back less than that.
I agree,
trying
but
to force himself to make those plays.
Well, I agree. But what always scares me with these things is that that's where you have like a Tolbert fucking, he muffs the fucking punt, and then there we go. We lost the game because of that. Those are the things. They better have the number 2 guy. Better be ready to go. We've had a lot of number 2s in there. I think Jaden Blue returned it once, and doesn't he have fumbling issues? So I mean, I don't know. I'm not very comfortable and confident in our return game. But all right, we got to live with that. Kavante Turpin, you're not surprised by him being out. What about another guy? I'm going to read his name here, baby. Key offensive guard. Tyler Booker.
I mean,
he's officially ruled out for this game. But we knew that already. So we knew 3 guys would be ruled out. CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Booker, and Kavante Turpin all ruled out for this game. They didn't listen to this, guys. All of them did not practice this week. So not one of those guys I just named practiced. Those 3 guys, no surprise. But there's other guys that are out. Miles Sanders, who, again, we just talked about Miles Sanders. We knew he's going to be out. He's out for the year. He's going to be moved to IR tomorrow, which will make room for another player, whether it's a practice squad guy and elevating him or moving someone off the injured reserve window list, which I'll explain. It's Mingo and it's Jonathan Mingo, receiver, which would be great, but I'll explain in a minute, or Kalen Carson, cornerback. So we knew Miles Sanders as well. There's only one guy left on this list that was kind of a surprise. By the way, I just want to say Miles Sanders, he did practice on a limited basis on Wednesday.
Okay.
But did not practice the rest of the week. And then, of course, out for the year. So I guess they figured out something that's going to be more serious. He could not work through it. And he had to just take the L for the season. But
sucks.
Yeah. The last guy, though, I gotta stress here is Jack Sandberg. Number 57. He played a lot of starting minutes, right? He had a concussion. He was like Guyton last week. He was unable to clear the concussion protocol. And he's ruled out officially, guys, unfortunately. So, again, now, some people, like Calvin Richard, might post again and say, that's a good thing. Now, he's not out for the year. He's out for one game. But a lot of people, I'm not a big fan of Jack Sandberg. He's more of I'm a former Everfluss guy. That's why I'm here. I'm a former backup linebacker for the Bears, and I'm starting for the Cowboys because I know Everfluss. You know what I'm saying? So, my point is,
the defense looks so much better without Sandberg out there.
Well, I mean, again, Luafau is getting better out there. But that means, to me, like you're going to see more snaps of Jaden Blue. You're going to see more snaps. You're going to see more snaps for Marist Luafau, baby. Let's go. And don't forget, Shamar James, the rookie, number 50, looked good out there. This is his first, like the first 4 weeks, it was bad. But this was his first good game. And I don't even think he was out there the first 2 weeks. He was inactive, but he played one game horrible, and then this last game was like a night and day situation. So I look for those 2 guys: Marist Luafau, number 35, and number 50, Shamar James, formerly of the Gators, 5th-round pick for our Cowboys this year. Yeah, they got to step up, and they stepped up last game in a big way. Let me hear what the man Calvin Richard said. As he's leading the pack tonight, John Luna down to 86 points. And he dropped that 5 on it, which means he hits the bullseye. What did the man Calvin Richard have to say, baby?
The offense will be fine. It's the defense I'm worried about.
And that's what we're talking right now, right? So no Jack Sandberg, who at the very least, to me, I don't want to lose him mainly not because of the snaps he may take, but more because he's a veteran guy that knows the defense and knows Everfluss. So he's like Kenneth Murray and Jackson. They're 1-year guys here just to kind of pass the time and be veteran guys for the other guys while Overshown's out, and even Overshown's young. But I'm just saying, like guys for Luafau and guys like Shamar James. So to me, they kind of stood out a little bit more than, I'm going to say it's a one-game thing, so maybe it's going to be different against Panthers and Carolina, but it definitely helps to have a good, Kenny Clark in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on 2 blockers and having nice wide open lanes for your fucking linebackers like Luafau, Murray, and now we're going to see not just Marist Luafau get a lot more snaps, so we're going to see number 50, Shamar James, get a lot more snaps. Important. Do not utilize like attack him. Who's out of position. He's got to have another good game. I'm a little worried about him. Still a little worried about Lua Fowl because they're still learning, but they're learning fast, and that's the good sign there. I just want them costing us a game. But right now, it almost seems like I don't know what you feel, but it seems like their good is outdoing their bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bad hurts. Good is helping more than the bad is hurting. So I don't know what you think about that, but that's what that means. Without Jack Sandberg in there, or Sandburn, without Jack Sandburn in there, we were going to get more Lua Fowl. We're going to get more Shamar James. And I like what both of them did last week. Let's hope they can continue, be consistent, and be as young guys, second year Lua Fowl, rookie, Shamar James, both guys drafted what? Lua Fowl in the third, James in the fifth. Both guys. Keep that great game you guys had. Keep that going. I think Lua Fowl can do it. I got to see it from Shamar James, but I like what I seen, baby. What did Calvin Richards say? He just dropped another 5. He hit the freaking bullseye right there in the middle. Is that 3 now? We 3 down? 3 out of 20?
That was 3 out of 20.
Right, making sure. So, yeah, with the 5 on it, John Luna, 81 points. What did Calvin Richards drop with some knowledge?
Samber knows where to be. It just takes him a little while to get there.
A little slower. And I'm not even saying football IQ. I'm just saying physically. He's just slower. Murray is slower. Well, you know who's not slow? Lou Fowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's not slow? Overshow when he's there. You know what I'm saying? You know who's showing a lot more speed than I thought? Shamar James. So let's keep it real. I wonder what you guys think about Shamar James and number 50, how he did. I think he definitely was above and beyond what I thought he was going to do out there, being thrust in the middle of that with an injury to Sandburn and having the concussion. And then at the same time, Lou Fowl, I thought he had 2 weeks ago. Even though he had that great hit, that spin move against the Packers, he also helped us lose that game. I say lose that game, lose the win. We tied against the Packers, but he was on the field. He came off late. He gave them a first down. He did a couple of stupid plays. Yeah, he knocked the ball out, but he made a great hit. He also hurt us, and in that game,
his fuck-ups contributed to the tie.
To the tie against the Packers. But then last week he played better. Now, is it a better opponent or is he learning? It could be both. My point, the Packers were a better opponent, but he's also another week in the league. He learned, more. I think the same thing with Shamar James. Bad week against the Packers when he had to come in there and play. Looked much better last week against the Jets. Now we got to see the next step, but he's younger. He hasn't had a whole year in the league like, Lil Fowl did last year. So we'll see. Shamar James, keep it up. Those are the 4 guys that are, I say 5 guys because Miles Sanders is the 5th guy, but he'll be on IR tomorrow. The Cowboys have to figure out who they're going to move in. Are they going to move a Malik Davis in there? They can sign him he could be elevated from the practice squad, but he could also be signed to the 53.
Yeah.
The Cowboys kind of always had an issue with him. I don't know if they even, I had to check if he's on the team. I don't even know if Malik Davis is on the team. But the point is that, to me, the bigger move would be getting Jonathan Mingo to play against the Panthers, his old team. Jonathan Mingo at receiver would be a smart move, right? He's on a 21-day window. But he's also listed as questionable. And so is Kalen Carson. Both guys are not on the 53-man roster. They have not been activated off the IR yet. They're on the 21-day window. So when I look at the practice this week, I see that Mingo was a full practice on Wednesday, but then did not practice Mingo with a knee on Thursday and on Friday. So he's listed as questionable. That scares me. When I look at Kalen Carson with his knee, full practice all week long. Kalen Carson at cornerback is ready to go. So to me, if I was a betting man, unless I know Mingo is definitely ready to go, I say, Kalen Carson is the guy that's going to get put into this team here, and we're going to IR, the Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
So, but if they're both good to go, if Kalen Carson's good and Mingo's good, I'd say bring Mingo in there, receiver, because that's his old team. He might know their defense better and how to break their coverage, but also we're kind of short on receivers too. So to me, honestly, there's a way of bringing both guys back. Kalen Carson and Mingo, but I just don't think Mingo is ready yet because of this injury. It seemed to have happened during the week. He was full practice and all of a sudden didn't practice the rest of the week. Are they saving him or did he get tweaked up again? What's up to Calvin Richard? Calvin Richard, another 5 on it for that DAC 4 right now. 420 right now on that stream, on the goal, reaching the bullseye. He hit it. John Luna is next spot, but he's got 76 points on the stream boss. Calvin Richard, that's 1, 2, 3 in a row. Actually, it's 4, isn't it? Yes, we're at 420 right now.
Yes,
4
it
out of
is.
20. What did Calvin Richard have to say, baby?
Maybe if he had more athletic linebackers on either side of him, it would help.
What do you think?
He's not wrong. So, and again, we were kind of talking about this earlier in the chat. Aztec Aguilar 04 and I, who do we kind of blame more for some of the woes defensively? Like, is it more of like a coaching Eberflus thing? Is it more of like a player execution thing? Just because Sanborn was a great example. We're like, hey, like, look, no offense, but the second that he wasn't playing and someone else was playing in his place, like, we saw improvements there at that spot. So, how much of that can you blame on Eberflus?
Right? Or
Then again, like, just saying that we had that discussion there.
Yeah.
But that, I think
one of the bigger things, and
absolutely
the biggest thing to
tracks
me,
there.
the biggest thing to me is, it's partially scheme, and it's partially players, communication. But you know what it mainly is? I truly think is Micah not being there. I think the scheme was designed around that pass rush that we don't have, and it exposed the defense that was supposed to not hold for 3 seconds in coverage. They were supposed to hold for 2 seconds or less in coverage. They never really taught them how to hold after 3 seconds because, well, we thought we'd have some kind of pass rush. We don't without Micah. So great comment there, and I agree with him too. Again, if we had more athletic, again, we got to wait for these guys to come here, right? I mean, we're waiting for Overshown to get back, and that will spruce up this defensive linebacking core. That'll put Sandberg on the fucking 5th linebacker side of things, 6th linebacker. He might be cut by then. I don't know, but my point is that I think that's the big guy missing, because you think about it, you got like someone like Shamar James who could maybe play the Mike linebacker in the future. You got someone like Lou Fowl who can play like the weak side. And you got Overshown who can play strong side, or a mixture of that, or whatever they play. But that's the 3 fast motherfucking linebackers is what I'm saying. That's our future. It's our future. I just named our future at linebacker. Shamar James, Demarion Overshown, Maurice Lou Fowl. How you like them apples? And Calvin Richard, would that be athletic enough? Please let me know. I do think that's athletic enough. I think that is if they play well and can cover. That's my big issue with Lou Fowl. He's not in coverage all the time, but he's learning. But as far as hitting, quickness of the ball, stopping the run, attacking, and playing their lanes right, and they're getting it down well. I like the way we're heading with these quick, fast, and still strong, hard hitting linebackers. I like it. Anyways, that's my opinion. I don't know what anybody else thinks in there, but
No, of course.
But Calvin Richard, thank you, brother. And he's up on that board. Hey, he jumped in there and he's moving past Jet Li, 44. He's moving on up, man. He's coming for John Luna's top spot, I think.
GMG 254, what's up? Saying defense needs to play like they did last games. Speaking on the blitz mode. So
if you blitz too much, they beat you on quick passes. So you got to be careful. You can't over blitz. And Everflush, somebody who doesn't really blitz too much. But yeah, because we have to use a 5th guy a lot of times to get pressure, that means our coverage has to be tighter than a frog's asshole. So I'm just saying, like, we got to make sure we got to have that good, but because we're now leaving our guys weakened in the secondary. And if they start doing quick passes, boom, 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 it could be catch and run for 70 yards. You know what I'm saying? It could be a 10-yard pass, but it's a 60-yard run. After the catch. And so those are the killers when you have an extra blitzer. If you're playing tight in coverage, if you're playing zone, that's fine. But everyone's got to hold their spots down, or because we're now one less in coverage. That's why you cannot over blitz. Because you got to find a sweet spot. You know what I mean? Everfluss was under blitzing. Now maybe we're blitzing the right amount, but we also have the coverage in the right mindset when we blitz. I don't think we had that the first 4 weeks of the season, to be honest with you guys. Anyways, good question there. Good comments by everybody. Thank you, Calvin Richard. And hey, should I go through this list here? I got a couple more injuries. We got a lot of injuries. If you look at this list, look at all the. I'm showing the wife the injury. So
like I said, it's easier to name the ones that aren't injured.
Yeah. So Dak's not injured. No. So anyways, so let me go through the rest because you guys heard me breaking this down here. The guys that are questionable: Tyler Smith, but all signs point that he's playing. That's great news. Trayvon Diggs, injury. He had an injury, Trayvon Diggs. He's questionable. He was limited all week. He had a knee issue. But all signs point that he's playing this game. LaRon Bland, our other cornerback. We just talked about cornerbacks. If any of those guys are gone, we better bring back Kalen Carson ASAP. Forget about Mingo. So, yeah, Trayvon Diggs and Bland are both also questionable, along with Tyler Smith. But I want to reiterate, Tyler Smith, limited all week. They're just resting him. He should be ready to go. Trayvon Diggs with the knee, limited all week. They're resting him, even though he's listed as questionable. And Deron Bland had a shoulder issue, was limited all week, questionable as well. It sounds like all three were just on a snap count in practice, just preparing for this game. Even though they're listed as questionable, hey, it keeps them guessing. So when I look at this, I'm all right. We can get through with these guys, but then we have guys on here that when I look deeper in it, Marshawn Nealon is questionable again. He was out last week. He was limited this entire week with an ankle injury, but he was out. He was an inactive. He wasn't out, but he was an inactive last week, which I think it was listed as questionable when we went into the game, and he was ruled out. So, and he was ruled, inactive. So I'm curious if we need that defensive edge rotation, and he's a solid run stopper, not really a pass rusher, but a run stopper. But here's the one name that I will say stuck out to me: Cornelius Ajanani. I can't say his name right, but the reason I say that because he was our starter at left guard for Tyler Smith, and Tyler Smith is questionable. And for some unfortunate situation, Tyler Smith cannot play. Will Cornelius Ajanani, will he be able to play? If not, we're fucked. So, yeah, that's kind of a question. Although I'm assuming that Tyler Smith will play. And I'm even assuming that this Cornelius will play as well. So we should be okay. Now, I'm not hearing much about them not playing, but all these questionables should be good. The only two questionables that are not on the 53, who hit to stay questionable, are Kalen Carson and Jonathan Mingo. And like I said earlier, Mingo was fine with the knee, full practice on Wednesday, but then Thursday and Friday, something, I don't know, they rested him, something happened. But those other days, he did not practice, not limited, he just did not practice at all. While Kalen Carson with the knee, full practice all week, he's still listed as questionable. But the Cowboys have to move one or both these guys onto the 53 for them to even have a chance to play on Sunday against the Panthers. So that is kind of the wrap up of the injuries. And it's important to note, guys, that we're assuming most of these questionables will be good, and they should be. The one or two questionables that I think will maybe miss the game will be like a Jonathan Mingo. It looks like to me he's probably going to stay on that side of things. I mean, even Ajanani can miss the game. I don't know. Nealon might miss. So these guys may miss, even though they're listed as questionable. They may be inactive or ruled out for the game. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see. Now, there's some other names on the list that are fully good to go. That either we're getting rest or got tweaked up, but then we're good, rest of the week to play. Everybody ended up, and all these guys are good to play, but they were on our injury report for some reason. Jadeveon Clowney with the hip, limited, but was full today. Good to go. Dante Fowler with an illness, didn't practice for 2 days. Well, he was good for 1 day, didn't practice on Thursday. Good to go today. He's good to go for the game. Tyler Guyton with the concussion. Here's the good news, guys. Tyler Guyton, he's playing. No game designation. He passed concussion protocol. He's full practice for the last 2 days. James Houston. That's James Houston. Remember that? You guys, if you guys watch the Sounds of the Sideline, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, James Houston, guys, had a knee issue, limited until today, full practice, good to go for the game. Kenneth Murray had a knee issue. He was full practice all week, though. Good to go for the game, of course, starting at a middle linebacker spot. Joe Milton, the backup quarterback, he also was out this week, but he was out for personal reason. On Wednesday, he didn't practice on Thursday, and Friday he was full. He's good to go. He's our backup to Dak. Wanye Thomas. We already don't have Malik Hooker. He's gone for 6 weeks, or 4 weeks he's gone for at least. So no Malik Hooker. We need Wanye Thomas. He had an ankle tweak. He was limited on Wednesday and Thursday, but he was full practice today, which is good news. Good to go for the game. Same thing with Sam Williams with the shoulder, full practice, good to go for the game. And Donovan Wilson's safety. Again, we need the safeties to play. Elbow and knee issue, didn't practice on Wednesday. He was limited on Thursday, but full practice on Friday. Good to go for the game. So that's the Cowboy side of things. That's where it's all good. It's at least it's trending positive, guys, right? You're getting a couple offensive linemen back. We may get a couple defensive guy back off the 21 day, off the injury report. I'm just saying, the direction here, that's the positivity side of things. We still got a couple of major guys missing, a couple of offensive linemen missing, and a defensive player or two missing as well. Much love, though. We're not missing Calvin Richard because he's hitting the board again. The 5th bullseye hit. Someone going to help him? He's doing this all on his own. Much love to Calvin Richard. I know they're skeptical. Started it off. Shout out to all you guys. But Calvin Richard making it 5 hits on the goal with the bullseye. What did the man say, baby? As he takes John Luna down to 71 points on this three. That's a Nate. That's a Nate Thomas right there. 71. What did he say with that 5 on it?
Mingo is slightly injured because Flournoy is playing so good. It was a little winky face there.
Yeah, I do want to just clarify when it comes to Flournoy, he was going to have to play anyways because we don't have CeeDee Lamb and because we don't have Kevontae Turpin this week. So Flournoy is like, you got Pickens. And then I think Flournoy is number 2. I don't know. I think he could be number 2 right now.
Yeah.
And then you have Jalen Tolbert as number 3. Those are our 3 guys with like a Jalen Brooks. You know what I'm saying? And a Jalen Crowder. Those are the guys that are like our 4th and 5th right now. But Mingo would knock one of them off. Would knock one of them like Crowder would not have to be elevated, although he is a return guy for us. So that's why we also elevated him. Crowder could return kickoffs better than most on our team. So there's a lot of things to think about. But yeah, I think Mingo, I don't think he's just suddenly injured. The thing about this, though, Calvin Richard, he could be full practice like Kalen Carson. Always don't have to move on the 21-day roster. So, I'm sorry, the 53-man roster for 21 days. It's not like an illegal thing, or it's not like the Cowboys are trying to hide him or stash him. He has 3 full weeks. It's almost 4 full weeks to come back to this team. And the Cowboys maybe don't want to rush him back. Maybe he did tweak himself. There'd be no reason, even if he was ready to go. Like right now, we're going to move someone to IR. We're going to move Miles Sanders to IR. That's going to open up a 53-man roster spot. So whether it's Mingo or Carson, or we make another move or we cut somewhere else, and then bring in both guys, that's an option. But I think something happened in practice, is my point, with Mingo. So they maybe give him an extra week. Although we would need him now too, but there's no room on the team right now, right? So we'd have to, if Kalen Carson takes that one spot, that's going to be emptied out by Miles Sanders. So that's just the way it goes. It's kind of like a puzzle piece. But if there's a guy on the team that we know he's going to miss 3 or 4 weeks, that guy you put on IR, and you bring Mingo back. But if Mingo's hurt, Mingo would be our 4th guy, or even our 3rd guy, maybe. I don't know. He'd be our 4th guy probably coming in. So he's not that needed as much as you may think he's needed. He's more needed for depth, in my mind, like a Sandburn or that kind of situation. Anyways, but I get your point, Calvin Rich. I do get that, and thank you for dropping that knowledge you do drop in here. Now listen, we keep it rolling here. I know it's gonna be a quickie tonight compared to the last couple of Friday streams, but let me finish this off by talking about our matchup with the Panthers, and we do need full discussions here because this is going to be the reason. This is how we win this game, and let me just. For our faces, or at least, I got to cover my face, but we got the beautiful wife showing there. It's a nope for them. You know why? Because when you look at their roster right now, they got 4 guys out. Kirk Wharton, defensive tackle, Taylor Moton, the offensive lineman, an offensive tackle with an elbow. He's out for this game, and he's a starter. Cuba Hubbard, starting running back. He missed last week. He is going to miss this week as well. And a Caleb Evans, cornerback with a hamstring. He's also out. So 4 guys out, 4 guys questionable. Jalen Coker with a quad, he's questionable. He's full price. He's a 21 window guy. So he's like a Kalen Carson, full practice. It's up to them if they want to put him in there, but he's a wide receiver and he's not a starter. Mike Jackson at cornerback with the rib issue, also all week full. Listed as questionable. Devontae Sanders, tight end, an ankle injury, limited, then was full, and then limited. So he's questionable. Not sure what's going on with him. And then Powell Smith-Wade, cornerback with a chest injury, full practice all week, listed as questionable. Now, I have to go through that. What does that mean for them? They don't have Chuba Hubbard. That's their number 1 guy. So guess who's starting? Rico Dowdle, who started last week and got 200-plus yards. Rico Dowdle this week is going to have the entire job for himself. He's going to get. It's time to beat.
For shut up, I guess.
He wants to
talk so much shit.
He wants to keep pounding. He's going to keep pounding in this game. Our Cowboy linebackers and the defensive linemen have to Stop Rico Dowdle. He's going to have it all to himself this week at the running game. The Panthers also ruled out, again, Chuba Hubbard, like I said. He was listed as a non-participant for the sixth straight practice. 6 straight weeks did not practice. So he's issue for them with a calf strain. But Dowdle got his start in place of Hubbard in week 5, and he ran for a career high 206 yards. Over 200 yards. 206 yards, and he got a touchdown on 23 carries, his old number in Dallas. So, again, he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, by the way, in that win, 27-24 win over the Dolphins last week. Carolina also is going to be without starting. This is a big one here. Now maybe get a little pressure. They're going to be without their starting right tackle, Taylor Moton, who did not participate in the whole entire week because of that elbow injury. Also, Josh Nijman is going to be basically put into his place. I'm going to tell you right now, Josh, you're in trouble, Josh. He's a guy very inexperienced, okay? I don't know if he has even a start under his belt. So we got to test their right tackle position. We put Micah Parsons there, it'd be at the end of their day for Bryce and their offense. But we don't have Micah, so we have to hope that guys like Fowler, guys like Sam Williams can wake up this week and get some pressure on the right side of their offensive line. Now, when it comes to the Cowboys offense, our offense, listen to these numbers, baby, for a second. It's going into week 6. If you keep extrapolating the numbers that our players have so far for the whole season, oh shit. We'll pause for a second because the man Calvin Richard Richard, if he gets in it, he's going to get into the raffle 4 times if he hits the bullseye. He got that 5 on it. What did the man say? As he knocks John Luna down to what? 66 points? He does.
I hope the Cowboys make Rico rush for his jersey number like the 85 Bears for Dickerson.
I hear you. Yes, I remember that too. Yeah, the 85 Bears made Dickerson get what? 33 yards that game? Isn't that Dickerson's number? So yeah, let's hope they hold him to 20. Listen, he's wearing number 5 now. He's not 23 anymore. So number 5, 23 is Jaden Blue on the Cowboys. For the Commanders, for the Carolina Panthers, he's number 5. So number 5 is the guy we're watching here this week when it comes to the running back situation. And that's Rico Dowdle. I want bullseyes on 5. But so I hear you, Calvin Richard. And yes, make him earn that shit. And make him run for 5 fucking yards the whole game. Yeah, anyway, or we can just go with the Cowboys number. We'll allow 23 yards for Rico. That's it. But we want to punish him. That's what I want to see, punishment. When it comes to our running back, who's our running back? Javonte Williams. He leads the NFC in rushing, like I said, but he's on pace for over 1,500 yards. So again, if you extrapolate the numbers he's had so far, his second leading rusher in the NFL, number 1 in the NFC, he would have over 1,500 yards rushing in 17 games. And you know how many touchdowns he would have on the ground? If you extrapolate that, 20 rushing touchdowns. That would be one of our best, that'd be one of our best running backs we've had in our history with that kind of with those kind of numbers like that. You know what I mean? Like as far as a 1-year deal. That would be mind-blowing. So, yeah, I hope he can keep this up. We hope Javonte. But it's great news? He's hitting 80 yards, 120. He's hitting these yardage things, and he's having a broken down offensive line. Imagine when the offensive line is full tilt, not full tilt, but fully loaded. And we got the other teams on full tilt. You know what happens then? I think we got Javonte Williams maybe even getting more yardage on that ground. What do you think about them apples, guys? But yeah, not this week. We do get one back, at least one guy back. Tyler Smith should be back. We definitely get Tyler Guyton back. So maybe the left side's a little more fixed. Interior it looked strong last week. It's a strong Jets defense. And you got Terrence Steele at the right tackle spot. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, they're definitely out for this game. So, offensive line, we'll see if they can keep Javonte Williams' streak going to that 1,500 yards. Can you imagine? He's almost got 500 already. He's got 400 and change. My point is, 1,000 yards is easy for Javonte Williams. Knock on wood, nothing happened, as far as injury is concerned. So, George Pickens, extrapolate his numbers. 1,200 yards receiving and 17 receiving touchdowns. So, George Pickens, that's a Pro Bowl year. That's a number 1 receiver kind of numbers right there. If you extrapolate his numbers. And again, CD coming back, would that get him less numbers? Will that actually make him get more numbers,
Yeah.
bigger stats, because CD's on the field? That's an interesting little dichotomy. And by the way, on defense, let's go back to defense. James Houston. That's James Houston. James Houston, guys, number 53. He's got 3.5 sacks. He leads the Cowboys. If it keeps going this way, he gets 12 sacks this year. So, Micah, who? I think I'm joking about that, but we do need to use James Houston more often. And maybe that's a good thing if Marshawn Nealon does not play this game. You get more snaps of guys like James Houston. Now, here's the thing we're talking about, guys, and this is why they know that they are a sucky team because they're saying, nope, we ain't winning shit. The Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowdle, now facing the Dallas Cowboys, his former team. And he said, quote, the Cowboys, they got to buckle up. I think they know that. They wouldn't have kept me on their team for 5 years. So they know what they're dealing with. Cowboys better buckle up. I'm going to bring it. So now that's what he's saying to the media right after his 206-yard game he had. All right. So Brian Schottenheimer was asked about this. And he said, quote, I know Rico said to buckle up and we're going to have our seatbelts, Rico. So again, kind of not fazed by any of the tough Rico trash talk. But I will say this one fact. And they asked Kenny Clark and they asked George Pickens. They said, basically, this is all they're doing is just gave locker room material for the Cowboys. They said, we want to see him do it. Kenny Clark said, I want to see him do it. I want to see him prove it. Show us that you're going to run all over us. And you're going to make us buckle up. He's like Kenny Clark. He's like, I don't know about this cowboy, hoopla shit, but I'm a fucking killer out there. And I love the new attitude from him. I love him and the run stopping. I love what he's doing out there. And I think he'll be the guy. Not any of the so he's the guy that's going to make the difference in stopping Rico to a halt, and a crashing halt, in my opinion. He might have a good gain here and there. Hold him under 50 yards. I think the Cowboys will do that. So again, Schottenheimer said, don't worry, Rico. We'll have our seatbelts. So when you break down this matchup, we talk a lot about their running game in Rico, but they're not really great in the running game except for the Rico Dowdle, explosion last week. But again, who do they play, right? The Dolphins? Really? They suck too. So anyways, listen. The issue with the Panthers, they have another pass-catching tight end. It's not a good. They don't have their tight ends are not like blockers or like once in a while used receivers. Their tight ends are heavily used in their system. So that's a key for the Cowboy defense to buckle that shit down. I'm going to stick with the defense here for a moment too because we got to slow do Rico Dowdle. Do I have to say anything more about that? I mean, that's a key to the game, right? So, and overall, is this a kind of gotta have it game for the Cowboys more than it is for the Panthers? Panthers, they're floundering. They gotta have something. But the Cowboys, in my opinion, because the Eagles took the L, this is a gotta have it game for the Cowboys. No excuses here. Now, I do want to kind of move it on and stay with the defense, and I'll finish with 2 quick points on offense, and we're done for the night. So get your last thoughts in, get your last comments. Drop your last drops of love, man. I wish we could hit that bullseye. But here's the thing, guys. The pass rush for the Dallas Cowboys. We just talked about the weakness on the right tackle side for them. We need to have some kind of pass rush against, let's say, the Carolina Panthers, but let's focus on quarterback Bryce Young. If we pressure Bryce Young, he will make mistakes. We saw it happen in the beginning of the fourth quarter 2 years ago when we played them. And we finally put some pressure on him. He threw like 2 picks in a row. Guys, we got to put pressure on Bryce Young. He's not good under pressure. Dak, you put pressure on Dak. He's the best. I think he is the best against the blitz, against pressure. Dak's he's top 5. Bryce Young's bottom of the barrel when it comes to getting pressured. So the problem for the Cowboys, and this is why it's a key, is that the Cowboys have had no pass rush. And hence no pressure until this last game against the Jets. So I'm hoping with the broken right tackle, we can get a little bit of pressure on Bryce Young. It's going to make a difference in this game. The Cowboys pass rush has far been what we were when Micah was there. But like I said, last week against the Jets, we showed signs of improvement. I think that, again, the Cowboys last week continuously applied pressure on a mobile quarterback, Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields mobile. He can be decent once in a while if you give him time, but they made it muddy in the backfield for him.
Hmm.
They had guys flying at him, and one of those guys was James Houston. Kenny Clark getting another half sack. I'm just saying these guys are important to the pass rush. So the overall numbers we had on Justin Fields last week, 5 sacks. Obviously, the best game we had all year when it comes to pressure and
Yeah.
sacks. So again, can we continue it? Can we be consistent against a subpar, let's be real, a subpar team, which the Jets are? Do we play down to their level? Or will we play to our own real level we can probably play to, or even play up past our level, which I think we did last week against the Jets with a lot of injuries on the offensive line. So to me, and that's a lot to do with Dak and the way we're coaching this team on offense. So to me, when it comes to defense, listen to this, baby. When it comes to Bryce Young, the starting quarterback for the Panthers, he's been sacked a total of 9 times this year. And that's a lot. A lot of sacks allowed. They're not a great blocking team for their quarterback. And now they're missing their starting right tackle. So Houghton's gone. We got an opportunity now, whether it's Sam Williams or Dante Fowler, whoever the fuck ever, coming in from that right side. Escurasu, let's go, Rook. Let's go. Even if Nealon plays. I'm just saying we got guys that can rotate in there and do something. So they got a broken right tackle. Let's attack him. And the main guy I want to attack him with, James Houston, baby. More James Houston snaps for him. So now, if you know those names I just told you, Esarascu and Sam Williams and Dante Fowler and maybe Nealon plays, but the main guy I think is Houston in the mix. James Houston getting more snaps brings more pressure on someone like Bryce Young. And if the Cowboys can do that, that will be a key in this game to winning for the Cowboys. Pressuring Bryce Young. Like I said, guys, listen to this. I want to reiterate how important James Houston has been on for the Cowboys. He currently leads the Cowboys with 3.5 sacks, like I said, but 2.5 of those he got in the last 2 games. So he's been heating up. Every game he's getting more snaps. James Houston's getting more snaps. He's getting more sacks. It's a sack attack. Let's go. So to me, guys, again, Houston has been one of the bigger and pleasant surprises this year. And again, a guy like this, usually you need more consistency to last. It needs to last more than a couple weeks. We're going to see if it happens or not. But the last 2 weeks have been fantastic. And he's the sack leader for the Cowboys. The guy behind him, Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle that's over 300 pounds. So it just shows you James Houston is really our only pass rusher right now. Now, that's the defensive side for us against their offense, which is a lot of issues. But really quickly, guys, as we say goodnight here, I want to just go over our offense for a moment and some of the keys to victory for us. And one of those guys, I hope you can see him here, is this guy, Dak Prescott. Simply phenomenal this year. He's got to be great against this Panther defense. He hasn't had CeeDee Lamb without his best playmaker, and he's not going to have him this game. Playing behind a shitty, broken offensive line, yet that backup shitty offensive line playing goddamn good for a backup offensive line because of all the injuries. So again, Dak is playing some of his best football. People are talking about MVP. I say hold off on all that stuff. But if he continues playing this way, MVP, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not talking MVP about him now. There's no reason to expect him to start playing poorly all of a sudden. But we know that sometimes happens with Dak. But I will say this. Keep your eyes out against this Carolina defense. Don't fall asleep on them, guys. Because they're currently ranked 12th in the league. The top half of the league on overall defense. But they're only allowing 311.6 yards per game total. And 14th in rushing yards. That's 100. They only allow 107.2 yards per game. And when you throw the ball, they're 10th. Their best thing is pass coverage. That's their best quality. Pass coverage is their best thing. So covering the pass, they're top 10 in there. They're 10th. They only allow 204 yards passing. Now, Dak Prescott, obviously, could throw for more than 204 yards, right? Don't you think?
I mean, I would expect so, especially considering the way he's been playing the last few weeks.
Yeah, so 204 yards is what they allow. We hopefully, the Cowboys, will be able to get closer to that 300-yard mark there for the passing game. And if we do that, I mean, we should go over the 107 yards in total rushing yards. So that would then break their defense a little bit. And that's why I'm saying it's so important. that we have Dak Prescott and this offense stay consistent with the way that, again, in my opinion, even with these impressive defensive numbers by the Panthers, the way the Cowboys offense been playing, the way Dak's been playing, the way the play calling's been, the way these guys stepped up, there's no reason why should not still be a heavily favored matchup for the Cowboys to win against the Carolina Panthers, guys. So again, with the way Dak's been playing, this is a favorite. The Cowboys need to do this; they will win it. And if in the game, if they get this thing done here, and the important thing is this: the Cowboys have allowed, the Cowboys have allowed opponents to pressure Dak Prescott on only 17% of pass attempts. That is the fourth best in the NFL. All right. The Panthers defense, how are they when it comes to pressuring the quarterback? Because we've been pressured only on 17% of our passes. That's crazy. Shout outs to the offensive line. I mean, we played some tough defenses. Don't forget the Packers with Micah. Don't forget the Eagles. Even the Giants got some pass rushers, as the Eagles found out yesterday. I'm just saying. 17 of our attempts have been pressured for Dak Prescott. That's very little. That's fourth best in the NFL. The Panthers defense, when it comes to pressuring opposing quarterbacks, they can only do it 9% of passing plays. That is 32nd in the NFL. So even though they have some good defensive statistical numbers, they are very poor at pass rushing. So this is a good thing with Dighton coming back, Tyler Smith back. It just empowers this offensive line against a weaker, and I just said this, a much weaker defensive line than the Jets had. Do not overlook them, but you got to look at the facts. They're not as good as the Jets, but treat them like the Jets. And we got our better offensive linemen in this week. We should do better in the trenches, and we did damn good in the trenches last week. This should continue against this particular team in this particular matchup. Also, one last thing about the passing game and sacks on Dak. The Cowboys the offensive line only allowed 7 sacks this year, the whole year. Also, fourth fewest in the NFL. So we're one of the best, lack of sack offenses in the. We don't get sacked. Dak does not allow sacks to happen to us. But how do the Panthers do when it comes to sacks? Panthers defense registered only 5 sacks the entire season. We got 5 last game, and we're not that good. They get 5 for the entire year sacks. That is 32nd also in the NFL. Guys, let me explain this properly. And I don't know if you understand, but with an improved offensive line from last week for us, and the Panthers, they are 32nd in getting pressure on the quarterback. They're 32nd in getting sacks on the quarterback. And they play shitty teams. So, right now the Cowboys, this is in their. The pass attack for the Cowboys should be number 1. And I think I said this last year too. Now, I will say the last part of this is regarding we'll call it a head-to-head matchup, but it's basically Javonte Williams versus Rico Dowdle. And I say that on separate sides because Rico talks so much shit. Mm-hmm. You replaced me. Well, Javonte Williams is a lot better than you right now this year. So the past meets the present. Last year's number 1 guy, Rico Dowdle, versus this year's number 1 guy, Javonte Williams. And while this is not a head-to-head battle, like I said, it is a matchup that could alter the game on the ground. Running the ball could make the difference in this game. It will make the difference in this game if it's close. So, again, Javonte Williams, second best running back in the NFL, number 1 in the NFC. Rico Dowdle, coming off a career game. I'll say Javonte Williams also coming off career games as well. After that career game after the week 5 performance he had against the Jets. So Javonte Williams and Rico Dowdle coming off career games, having great seasons so far, especially Javonte Williams. But again, Rico Dowdle had a career game of the year really this year so far with that 206 yards. But we're going to follow it up with a more dominant performance on the ground. And I think Rico Dowdle is not consistent. He had one good game, but we've seen Javonte Williams dominate every week pretty much running the ball, right? I mean, we've seen him do a great job doing that. So, again, when it comes to this situation, the performance between these guys, I know it's not a head-to-head battle, but the Cowboy offensive line, broken or not, I think we'll get the Javonte Williams yardage and have a better running attack. And on top of that, if we get some points up on that board, and that's a big if we get points on the board, there's a chance that we could also, kind of make them a one-dimensional passing team, which would give the running game even less importance for the Panthers. So that's the goal for the Cowboys is to make sure we stop Dowdle. He's the only guy really back there right now. All right. He talked his shit, so now we want to make sure we keep pounding him to the ground and make him not get any yards as possible. And again, he's going to be a little motivated to kind of stick it to the Cowboys because this is a former team and former teammate, so he wants to show out. And he's motivated, but we're motivated to stop him. That's what's shown by my video short. If you watched it a little earlier today, so with the way that Javonte Williams has been playing, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna probably have the better day than Rico Dowdle, especially with our run defense being so good and their run defense being a bit flimsy against Javonte Williams. So I think we got him there. The Cowboys offense, we're averaging 5.4 yards per carry on the ground. That is the fourth most in the NFL. Thank you, Javonte Davis. Javonte Williams is one of the main guys in that group. How the Panthers defense? The defense is allowing 4.5 yards per carry. That's a lot, guys. That's the eighth worst in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, they're in a bad situation. Stopping the run, we're in a great situation at running the ball. So, yeah, we can throw against this team. We can also run against this team. And I would like to run more than throw if possible because you control the game, the clock, and rest your defense that way. While the Cowboys offense, we're also averaging 2.6 over 2.5 touchdowns per game in the red zone this year. So when we get in the red zone, we get a touchdown. We're averaging 2.6 touchdowns when we get in the red zone. Third best in the NFL. How are they in the red zone on defense? The Panthers, their defense, they're allowing an average of 2 touchdowns per game when the team gets in the end zone. In the red zone, they allow 2 touchdowns. So you get in the red zone, you're probably scoring touchdowns on this team, or scoring at least 2 touchdowns. You get to the red zone twice. That's seventh worst in the NFL. So Panthers are going to have their truly work cut out for them. And, when I look at these matchups and these keys to victory for the Cowboys, this is a third consecutive year the Cowboys have to take the road to play the Carolina Panthers. And again, Cowboys are favored in this game, even though we're on the road at Carolina. It's not an automatic win. There's a lot of things that still have to happen. You can't count out the Panthers. They are technically undefeated at home. So we're playing at home. Because of that, you got to kind of take everything into effect. It's going to be closer than we may think initially by looking at the stats. Everything I said, we beat them in the air. We beat them on the ground. And we're going to have more guys this week than we had last week against a worse defense than we played last week. But you can't if the Cowboys overlook the Panthers, they will keep pounding us. And that's what we cannot afford. So it's important our offense stays on track and does what they need to do. And it's very important the defense. There's a lot to play for the defense in my mind. The defense is still an embarrassment. So even though they had a good week last week, let's keep it going. Consistency matters. James Houston attacking with the pass rush. Liu Fao, Samar James at linebacker with Murray. But, I'm looking at the future here. And then hopefully Trayvon Diggs and Bland, they're questionable, but they should be playing, which would make it a little easier for maybe a little more either Bland in the slot or Bland on the outside with, Reddy Stewart have to be ready to go at that slot cornerback spot, which he's playing good enough in right now. So, again, guys, we have to see what happens. It's not about who's the better record, who's better stats. It's about matchups. That's what wins games. So when you're looking at my matchup situations, you see it in the trenches always. You see it, with injuries and how we can attack their right tackle. Since there's a backup, let's attack it with James Houston. And that's how we can get some pressure on Bryce so that we can slow him down. Bryce Young needs to get slowed down and muddied in the backfield, make him scramble a little bit, and hopefully force him to make some mistakes running away. That's the only thing, that's how our defense can have some pride. Our offense, cannot overlook this defense, even if they're not that great. They have numbers statistically, but they're not really good when you look inside the numbers. So still, treat them like they're the Super Bowl champions, Cowboys. That's what you got to treat them like. In every game, there are certain matchups that will sway the outcome of the result, guys. So I just discussed a couple of these, and I hope you guys were able to follow along. We hit 6 on the bullseye, so shout outs to everybody in the house watching right now. We are let me see here. There you go. We are fully done for the night, guys. The wife did. I know it was in the middle of my discussion there, breaking things up, but she did have to. She got up extra early today, so she's out of this. She said, "Go Cowboys," though, and back on Sunday for the live stream game day reaction. You know how it goes. Let me see what's in the house. I'm going to shout out some people. Uh, we didn't hit the bullseye, but big, huge thank you to the man Calvin Richard, who really he kept pounding on that goal, on that bullseye. So shout outs to him. And I know that Skeptical fan started it up as well. Shout outs to him also. And everybody in the house here who's talking Cowboys, whether it's always from the man Rolando Rodriguez, of course. Appreciate you, brother. Skeptical fan, always awesome. Sky Johnson, appreciate you. Scorpio in the house. The wife here, MCW. You, of course, got all the MCF After Dark 2, and After Dark 3, all the MCF After Dark channels. Make sure you subscribe to those channels if you haven't yet. But you got to find them on your own. MCF After Dark. Real shit. Go Cowboys. Fuck the Steelers. And I know you're pissed about the fact that your Steelers suck and we got Pickens for nothing. So Scorpio, Sky Johnson, who else we got in here? Rolando Rodriguez. Thank you guys. Um, DMG252. Appreciate you. Welcome in here. We do this, try to do this every Thursday or Friday. Usually Fridays when we do the stream. If it's Thursday, it's just me. If it's Friday, you get the wife for a little bit. And if it's Sunday, well, Sunday is both me and the wife on camera for a full live stream. Let's go. Kenzie Band's in the house. Appreciate you, man. Hey, I know. You can watch the replay, Kenzie. I hope you get to hear it. We're at the end of the stream, though, so it is at the end of this thing. Had a good one. I think we got all the information we needed to get out there for the public to get down. Jordy Fuentes, yeah, Rico better buckle up. He's got the Cowboys 28-20. Sky Johnson said Scorpio, I think it's 27-17 Cowboys. Scorpio said 44-17. I think the Cowboys, if they play the game the way they should play, the game, that's a possible score. But the reality is, if the Cowboys play like they sometimes play down two teams, Jordy and Sky kind of have a closer number there. I don't think it'll be as close. I hope it's not as close as what GMG says, 23-20 Cowboys, but in the end, just win the game, right? Scorpio said, when MCF said they're 32nd in game to the quarterback, Dak at playing time, I hope that will translate. I hope so too, Scorpio. But they're 32nd in pass rush pressure. They're 32nd in pass rush pressure, they're 32nd in sacks. They have 5 for the year. We had 5 last game, and our defensive line sucks. So again, guys, they don't get to the quarterback. They had 9. They have 5 the whole year, and they've allowed 9 on their guys. So we should have, we got to pick on their right tackle on defense, and who's a backup, and that is, I say, key with Sam Williams and Dante Fowler and Zaraku. That's great, but I think the guy who's the key is number 53, James Houston, on that pass rush. Attack their weaknesses. 32-10 said GM, go Cowboys. Love you too, man. Appreciate you, Sky. Everyone, be safe and always go Cowboys. Now it's time to come to an end here, guys. And again, hit the like button if you have not hit that like button yet for the stream. It helps us tremendously when you hit the like, but also it helps so much more when you keep adding to the family. We're at over 43,000 family members here on My Cowboys Family. So thank you guys. From the old school first OGs 8 years ago. 8+ years ago. From all them to the guys that just subscribed today, tomorrow, yesterday, and the next day, and the next week. Appreciate you all. You're all part of this family here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. Cannot do this again without your guys' love and support. Your 2 cents, your thoughts on our team. And again, the appreciation when it comes to dropping the love and the support, like from the people representing these boards, like the sponsor of the month, the man John Luna. You see him there with still 66 points with little TJ Bass on that stream, boss, and keeping a little bit of that greenery on that stream, boss. Much love to the man John Luna, who, by the way, also is still in first place on the overall board, although right behind him, Alvin Richard, Jetly 44, and many others. Shout outs to them. Now, when it comes to these gifting memberships, the king of the gifting memberships, the champion of the gifting memberships, a skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Much love to you, sir. But we also have the current leader, which is Citizen Z, who gifted 5 this month, and Jetly has 2 gifted memberships. So right now, it looks like Citizen Z's in the lead. About a third through the month of October. And then when it comes to the Cash App side of things, right now, right at this very moment, the Cash App king is the same as the Cash App leader for this month. He might go back to back. It's Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. You've seen him on every channel you guys go on, so you know Daniel Berry is the great Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Much love to him. Yes, Juan Carlos, Galen Blue is officially the number two because Miles Sanders is out for the year with that knee. We talked about the same injury that Trayvon Diggs had, so he's gone for the year. And Stephen Jones himself announced that Jaden Blue will be the number two full time number two running back. So that's it. He's number two, but we don't have them. We need to get depth. Don't be surprised if we take a running back up from the practice squad and elevate him for this game, or even pick somebody up and put him at 53 because Miles Sanders is going out. We'll see if tomorrow we'll know. By the way, much love to Daniel Berry. He is in first place currently this month. Only got two on it. So anything really beats him if you drop it through the Cash App or PayPal, any way that way. But I do want to say that, yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that we lose depth when it comes to Miles Sanders, but I like the fact that we get more Jaden Blue. The thing is, who's our third guy? It can't be Lipke. It's got to be somebody more on this practice squad. So that's more my issue. Then I know the good thing about losing him is we get more Jaden Blue. The bad thing is we lose depth. We lose veteran depth as well. So that's important stuff to me. Anyways, we'll talk more about this game day. But here's my prediction. So you guys, for those that are still here chilling, 18, 20 of you guys hanging in here, I do want to say one last thing about what I think is going to happen tomorrow. We're not live tomorrow. We'll be live on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So this game will be live. So you can just click in here. Even you don't get a notification. We're live. But the important thing is tomorrow, my guess will be, we know that Miles Sanders is going to the IR. We know that we're going to have an extra spot open on this 53-man roster. And we know that we have two guys that we could pick a bunch of guys and maybe a running back from the practice squad to get elevated to the 53-man roster. But to me, since we're kind of we're lacking that corner, we're lacking maybe even a little bit of receiver. Jonathan Mingo, who's pretty much did not practice the last 2 days this week, so he's questionable for this game. And Kalen Carson, who's questionable, but he had a full practice and he's ready to go. Both these guys are ready to come off, or at least Kalen Carson's ready to come off the injury reserve. My prediction is that when we move Miles Sanders to IR, we can grab someone from another team, we can grab a practice squad guy. No, I think we're going to go and take off Kalen Carson from the 21-day window, injured reserve window, and be part of it. He'll take over that 53rd spot, or the open spot on our 53-man roster, and he will play an important part in this game as our possibly third or fourth cornerback. Because you want him in there, you want Jason Elam in there. Oh, I'm sorry, Kaiir Elam in there. Yeah, I think we got our answer. Let's see some Kalen Carson. So that's what and now, unless Jonathan Mingo is ready to go, then you may see him come in there, and maybe they'll put him in over Kalen Carson because he goes against his old team, the Panthers, and because he also, is needed at receiver in some spots. But we'll see if the Cowboys go that route, which way they go. I think it's going to be one of those two guys, probably Kalen Carson. And as far as an elevation is concerned, or elevated players, not be surprised to see a running back elevated. And if we have Malik Davis, I say elevate him. And even, if we don't bring up a receiver, Crowder will be the guy who's brought up, I think, to return kickoffs, punts, and be our sixth receiver. That's where, or I guess our fifth receiver. Because after Pickens, you got, Jalen Tolbert, Flournoy, and then, and I guess you got Jalen Brooks in there, and Crowder will have to be moved. Both those guys could be moved up if the Cowboys feel bad at wide receiver. And if you feel bad at running back, well, I would move up a running back if the Cowboys were smart. But we'll see what happens because it all comes down to who's going to be in that 53rd spot when they move Miles Sanders to the IR. So that's kind of my thoughts. If they get someone from another team who could, who knew that was going to happen, and it's not going to be a big name. It's going to be somebody who's just, released and is on waivers or whatever. And if it's somebody from the practice squad, well, it's practice squad. So don't get too happy. The most thing would be like a Malik Davis to the 53 if he's on our practice squad, which I don't even think he is. So we'll see. Jordy said Kendricks will be nice for us on defense, but Kendricks, yeah, he ain't gonna happen. GMG said fill it with the corner, and if it's no brainer, that cornerback will be Kalen Carson. He's ready to come back. Adapa in the house said Epiphany listening Jerry on 103, then looked at notification on phone. It was the Mario Davis interview. That's who we need. That's funny. He's getting a little old though, a little long in the tooth, right? So I think I got everyone's questions answered, guys. We'll talk more about this and answer more questions. Give you our live reactions as it's going play by play right here for another this is the ninth season of Cowboy MCF watch parties. So join us for that. It'll be fun. And hopefully we get a win and go 3-2-1. Washington loses and we're in second place. Half game back on the Eagles. That's a great way to end Sunday afternoon if we get that our way. For the wife, for myself, guys, you know why we do this each and every night. Well, we did it each and every night for about 7 straight years. And the last year and a half has been rough, schedule changes and stuff like that. But we've been doing this thing for 8+ years, 9+ seasons here on YouTube. And you know why we do this thing. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything, guys. Over the best, your favorite player, over your favorite coach, over Jerry Jones. It's that star over everything. And that means win, lose, or draw. That means good, bad, or ugly, no matter what. Here on My Cowboys Family, we will always rep that star over everything. And here on YouTube for 9 seasons, over 8 years, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, stay with us. Go Cowboys! One day, let's get that 6 and beyond, right, Scorpio? One day. Go Cowboys. He knows. Thank you guys in the chat dropping the knowledge all night long. All night. All night. All night long. They probably copyright me, though. They probably, like, audio copyright me for fucking doing Lionel Richie all night long. Anyways, thank you guys for all the drops of love from above. Came close to hitting, we went the full 2 hours, but came close to hitting the bullseye 20 times. 6 out of 20 is pretty good, I will say, on a weekday stream. So thank you guys. Calvin Richard mainly, Skeptical Fan, dropping the love from above. Amazing Games, and all the others. Citizen Z, Aussie, who else? Yeah, everybody. Gerald Swain, Indian Boogie. Thank you guys for being in the memberships as well and doing your thing there. Dropping the love from above, and we cannot do this without your love and support. On that note, it is time to drop out and clock out of here for the night after 2 hours of Dallas Cowboy news, info, and updates. Thank you guys for being here with us. We'll be back on Sunday, about 10 minutes before the game starts, 15 minutes out, 12:45 Eastern Time, for the game day reaction, play-by-play MCF watch party. Cameras on, lights, cameras, action. My wife and I breaking it all down for you guys here as every play, good, bad, or ugly, goes down. Hopefully, a lot of good and a win for our Cowboys. I hope. All right, guys, it's time to get out of here. Peace out. Much love. And as always, before we can officially drop out for the night, relock and reload for game day, our game day live reaction show on Sunday. Never forget, guys, before we can drop out for the night, we got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah, that beat's been dropped. It's a wrap. Peace and love, guys. Thank you for joining us for another Cowboys chat. And a Panthers preview, but a little flavor of the Jets recap, right? When Rico Dowdle talks shit, Trayvon says, no, no, no. Dak's like, what? George Pickens like, what? Kenny Clark's ready to kill him. 95, 96, 99, 97, and Osa, everyone. We're coming for you, Dowdle. We're going to keep pounding you into the dirt. Oh, yeah. We talked about all that, injuries, and more right here for another Cowboys chat right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. Thank you all again. It's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything here in My Cowboys Family. And never forget the number one thing right here in this channel. You guys, hit that like button for the stream. Hey, everybody, before you get out of here, hit that like, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell on to all videos because we upload videos. We have live streams like this. We have video shorts you can catch 3, 4, 5 times a day sometimes. Give you all the news and updates that way as well. Thank you all once again. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, X, whatever, at My Cowboys Family. Jump in the Discord for more football talk, and make sure you all stay safe out there and meet us back here on Sunday afternoon for Week 6, Cowboys at the Panthers. Peace and love. Stay safe, everyone, and never forget, you know what I'm going to say, never, ever forget, Cowboys.
among one to be.